Stitchers, happy Easter. It is Jessie, the Daily Stitcher, here with my March update. We just got home from my sister's house not too long ago. We had Easter lunch over there. Brought home enough leftovers that I'm not going to have to make dinner tonight. Oh, kitty cat, you really need to seriously figure this out. Get down. Come here. There we go. It's kind of nice. If you call her and pat, come here, she responds. Oh, say hi. I think that's the most anybody's gotten to see. Oh, there's the tail. That's what most everybody recognizes, the tail. Yeah, no, she acts more like a dog sometimes than a cat. But other times, like now, when you're standing literally on all my stitchy stuff, you are seriously a cat. Anybody else have a cat that can't decide? Are you a cat? Are you a dog? I don't know. Alright, so it is the end of March. I have, I don't know, been busy. A lot going on. We're getting ready to gear up for baseball season here, so getting the practicing started and stuff like that. Seriously. I have the camera sitting on a box, and the cat thinks that the box was put there just for her to rub and scratch on. If you fall over, I'm so sorry. Okay, so March, it's been busy, it's been productive. Don't know if you can tell, but from my other videos, I cut about 4-5 inches off the length of my hair a couple weeks ago. I just got tired every time you sit down or lean back. I'm sitting on it. I felt like I was constantly fooling with it. So I got annoyed one day and I cut it all off. And if you can't tell here with the color, my dirty little secret is I am not a natural redhead. So I went to the store and I wasn't happy with the brand I was using, but I loved the color. So I got the same color in a different brand, and it does not look the same. It's not supposed to be this purplish red color. Not sure if I'm going to keep it. But if I were to dye it immediately, it's really damaging to my hair. So I have to wait for at least a week or so before I can change the color and put it back to where I wanted it. So it should be auburn. A lot more brown with red undertones to it. And it's not. But okay, I'm just not going to fiddle with it. It's bugging me. I feel like Ariel from The Little Mermaid, especially if you get me in the sun. It's like bright red. So, like I said, not sure if it's going to stay or not. We'll see if it grows on me. I've done worse to my hair. I promise. So much worse. But besides that, I also got a lot of stitching done. So, I'm going to start first with the least amount of stitching I got done, the project. And that is my Haid. And here I'm going to insert a photo. I'm using a different program, so I'm going to try to insert a photo of what it looked like last month. Just a moment. Okay, hopefully that worked. And now you can see, here's where I'm at right now. The confetti I am stuck on is driving me bonkers, so I didn't have all my vertical grids in, so I went ahead and finished those out so I could do some solid black stitching. And then I've just been working my way down this column. It's still not full, but because once you get to the bottom of this column, you've got all that black, and then you move into skin tones. I am starting every single color here and then stopping here. Starting a color here, stopping it here. Starting here, stopping. There are so many different colors in here. It is driving me berserk. So I'm trying to do at least a little bit on this every day. It's driving me crazy though, so it's not any sort of a focus piece for me. But it looks beautiful. It's so worth it. I mean, look at that. The hair, the color. See, it's so worth it, but driving me batty. So, progress on that, but not much. But every little bit counts. The next thing, this is probably what I stitched on the most, and I am so excited for it. It's my Dimensions kit, Dimensions Gold. It's European Bistro. And again, I'm going to try to insert a photo here of what it looked like last month. Okay, I think that worked. It looked like it worked. I'm not going to redo this entire video if it did not work. So, now, ta-da! It's my brand new Millennium frame. One of the reasons why this is so excited. I ordered this back in September. And it was finally shipped in March. So, a long wait and probably an impulsive purchase I should not have done. But I was getting ready to go on a really strict budget, and for some reason that means spend all the money before I am no longer allowed to spend any money. So, okay, it's big and awkward to hold on camera, but lovely to stitch on. So this is all new down here, and you can't see it much, and I'm not unrolling it because I'm getting ready to work on that. Like this is new. I worked a little bit up here. Oh, but now you can see like the whole thing all at once, pretty much. So, it's exciting. I love the frame. It works so well. It's not even tight right now. Like, I can turn these a lot more. And even now, the tension is so much better than the old frame I had this on, which makes stitching it so much nicer. And when I'm done at night, I just loosen the bolts a little bit. You can see how loose that is. And set it down. And then when I'm ready to stitch on it, I just tighten it up a little bit. Ready to go. And the tension, it's amazing. I was really worried after all that, everybody talked about it, and I was so excited for it. I was so afraid it was going to get here and I wasn't going to like it, but not a word. I love it. It's a little bit to get used to because it's so long. I'm not used to working on a frame this large, and I don't have a stand for it. But I sit on the side of the couch, and if I prop this left side up on the arm of my chair, I normally sit cross-legged on the couch. I can set the right-hand side on my knee, and then I've got one hand underneath and one hand on top, so I can still do my two-handed stitching, no problem, because it's completely supported by itself. So it did take some getting used to. That's one of the reasons my old frame, I actually worked on it this way. I mean, the picture was the right direction, but the frame was too narrow. I had to put the fabric in here the other way, so when I stitched on it, I held it like this. Which again meant I could hold the frame in the crook of my elbow and stitch on the back with one hand and on the front with the other, like this. So every time I use my hand on the back, I would just kind of hold the frame steady with this hand while I was doing stuff. And then I could use my hand flat here while I was doing here. So that's how I stitch two-handed without having a frame. So now it's supported by itself on the side of my couch, and I have one hand underneath, and I'm doing this just because I don't have my couch now, but if this was on the couch, then I would just be doing two-handed. So I've gotten a lot of progress on that, and I'm loving it. I'm sure it won't be done this month, but I'm hoping by summertime I'll have this finished. Okay. My precious frame. Okay. The next thing I have quite a bit of work done on, I'm very happy with it, is my Twisted Rainbow Sampler by Northern Expression Needleworks. I'm not going to insert a photo here. You'll see why. I'm still doing some testing and playing around with colors. And so this is the piece as a whole. Very tall. But I made it all the way down to the very bottom color. And I'm pretty happy with everything. There's a couple of changes I'm going to make. And to make it easier to see, I'm going to fold this up real quick. So, okay. I think I talked about this last time, but this first color here, I don't know. I had like 20, 30 skeins of floss in my hands at the store, and I don't know if the lighting in the store was different or if I got confused on which one was which and I set the wrong one down, but I thought this was a gray, a purple gray, and it's definitely not. So I want to get something that's more gray and purple combined so it'll blend a little bit nicer. I'm not happy with those two there. So this one will stay, and this one I'm going to try to find something very pastel, a little bit of gray in it, but still purple family. This is just 100% gray, maybe even a little bit of blue color in there. So I'm going to have to rip that part out, which that was what inspired me to go through all of these colors and do a small section before I committed to the entire band, because I would not want to rip out this entire band, which is very, 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 very long. So I just did like one length of floss on each color. So we've got pastel, purple, magenta, pink, and these two pinks in person, they look fairly similar, but I like how they are on camera. Interesting. And that red, it's showing it very red, but it's more of a, what would you call that, a coral, salmon? It's a pink red, but it doesn't matter. And then there's an orange. Yeah, that one's maybe more salmon-y peach, orange. And now the big thing I noticed was here, the yellow. That's actually two very different shades of yellow. On the top here, this is a very bright yellow. And on the bottom here is a very light pastel yellow, but on here, very, very little difference. You can't really tell at all. Maybe just a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is rip out this top yellow and find something that's a very pale orange yellow to blend from the orange down into the yellow. So I'll find something to go between those. And then down into the greens. And I gotta move my fabric again. It wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't trying to show you 5 million colors at once. So a nice minty green, a little bit brighter, into some turquoise and blue, and then start adding in some grayish blues and down into more pastels, and then almost a silvery kind of gray. So, and those stitches right there, love the look of those. Not the eyelets. I've decided eyelets, not my favorite, but I don't remember what they're called, but those right there, really love the look of those. So, I don't know. None of the stitches were all that necessarily hard or difficult, which excited me. I had a lot of fun with it. There were some I enjoyed more than others. This is on 25 count fabric, and all the specialty stitches are done over 1 when they're charted, whereas the crosses are over 2, if that makes sense. So some of these specialty stitches are very small, like the Jessica stitches here, the round. You can't really see much detail at all in them. And same thing, these are rice stitches in between all the Jessicas, I think. You can't really see any detail, and this is pretty nicely focused. But, I mean, that's really zoomed in. Like, if you were to look at this piece from a distance, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they really add a whole lot just because of the size of them. They're so small. So, here's some more. The satin stitches. I like the way those look. And they turned out nice and smooth. So, yeah. My eyelets, though, I don't know. Nothing wrong with them. I got them done. They weren't difficult to do. I think it's just difficult to make them turn out nice and even. But here's some more I can't remember the name of. It's all written down in the chart. The directions were very easy. And then, yeah, see? More eyelets. just to make the holes in the middle look consistent, I found it very difficult. So, not my favorite, but there was nothing wrong with them. And I enjoyed the piece as a whole, so I'm excited. I think there's just those two colors I'm going to switch out. And then I'll be able to actually work on this and try to get some serious progress and actually finish bands all the way across. So that was a lot of done. And then the last stitchy thing, at the beginning of the year, I had said I wanted to do some smaller projects, maybe the Satsuma 12 days or something in preparation for Christmas, but the extra fabric and the patterns, it just wasn't in the budget at that particular time, but I wanted to do something else small, because these projects are all, I mean, for me, these are pretty big, and even if they're not big size-wise like the Haid, it's full coverage. It's stitched over one. It takes a long time to get accomplished. So I decided to do some Mabel Figworthy. She's got her round in circles stitch along. That's what it's called, round in circles. And it's Hardanger. And it was, cost-wise, the patterns for the year wasn't very much. I think it was like £5 or £6. But I could do it on fabrics that I already owned. Not a problem. I just needed some extra floss. I don't have any pearl cottons at home. And I actually was going to start this at the end of January, beginning of February, but I was really having trouble finding pearl cottons at the store here. I just have like a Michael's, a Joann's, a Hobby Lobby. I need to look and see if I can find an actual L&S around here, because I'm sure there's one. I think Kansas City's big enough. I think I've heard somebody else mention there's one around here. But when you go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, they've got a ton of pearl cotton number 5. Lots of it, lots of colors, lots of variety. But then you go to find something in a number 8. Yeah, make sure I got my numbers right. A number 8 that would match, and they don't have anything. Or you need 2 different colors, a darker color and a lighter color, and again, they don't have any. I think the number 8s, they had white, cream, black, red, and blue. That's it. Not even shades of red, not a couple shades of blue, like one blue, one red. So I don't know. I was having trouble finding something like that. So I found, oh, I didn't bring it up here, but it's hideous and ugly. I'm not even going to bother going and getting it. I found a package of like 6 pearl cotton number 8. I'm not familiar so much with those. So, they had like 6 different balls of it with different colors, and they were lightly variegated. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll get these that are like off-brand or store-brand, but there were no number 5s to go with them. So I was trying to match colors with the DMC pearl number 5s, and the colors weren't quite right, but I was like, I'll make it work. I'll make it work. And the more I looked at it after I got them home, I hated it. They were hideous. They didn't match. So I took a cream, was it 712, of each of the different weights, the regular floss, the number 5, and the number 8, and I decided to dye it myself. So, I went with variegated because the pattern you could do all white on white fabric, but I thought for my first time that would not be the best. I wouldn't be able to see the stitches as well. Or you could do like some of the stitches in dark, some of the stitches in light. And I was like, just easier, do all one color, but something that would be easier to see. So I just variegated it all pretty much identically and came up with this. Here, there we go. See? That's it. Yellow, pink, some strands a little bit darker of purple, and where the yellow and the pink come together, you get a little bit of a peach or orangish color. So that's the number 8. Here's the number 5. And then, yeah, that's the plain cotton. So, and then actually the number 8, there's so much of it, I've got 2 of them. So, that's just all once, that's how they wound up. I couldn't get them all on one. So, I just stitched it like I was doing the all white on white. Sorry, life interrupts. So, I was talking about heart hanger. I decided to stitch it like I was using just white, everything white on white, but I just used the variegated for everything. And the first month, this is what I came up with. This was no cutting, just getting used to doing the different stitches, the cloister stitches. It's getting late enough here. The light is crazy. It was daylight when I started this. Okay, so that was number 1. There's even a little, I don't think I like it. That was the only colored bead I had that even made any sense in the middle of this. But this is on 28 count fabric I already had. Don't love it. It was hard to work with on this fabric. But it turned out all right. And then the February, here we go. That was the first month with cutting. Can't see very well. See? I cut it out. It didn't fall apart. So, that was fun. I like the way the colors, because like this one you did all of the cloister box in one color, and then you wrapped the bars in another color, and then like, let's see, the 3 on this side were done in like a dark color, and these 3 were done in a light color, and then a dark color, and I was like, oh, forget it. Looks good, just as good when you do it all variegated colors. Yeah. I was trying to get rid of some of the shadows there, but that doesn't help much. But so that's what the February block looked like. And then I even got March done on this big, huge, giant piece of fabric. I'm not unwrapping it all the way, but there we go. This one had some sequins in it also, and I didn't have any sequins, so I put a bead in the center. That's what it called for, but there's no sequins on these yet. But otherwise, it's all done. And there's cut work and stitches in the middle, and some wrapped daisy stitches, I think they're called, up here in the corners. Can you see that one was my very first? And I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit uneven. But as I go around, they get better. They evened out a little bit. Yeah, that yellow one right at the top. It's all squished and fat. It's all wonky. That was my very first one. But by the time I got down here, this was my last one. Nice and even. I like the different colors on the petals. There we go. That's it. So I'm excited. I will say, the very first one, because there was no cutting in it, I got to the end and I was like, oh, well, it's kind of sad. I wanted to cut something up. It's heart hanger. I wanted to cut it up. And then I got to the second month and I was ready to cut, and I said, oh, I don't know if I want to cut it. It's kind of funny. I was so sad the first month that I didn't get to cut anything up, and then when it was finally time to cut, I was like, I'm afraid. So I don't know what I'm going to do with these. Yeah. Well, these here are probably nothing. The fabric's too small to work with that pearl cotton. March, though, this is done on 25 count. But I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But it was fun practice. I definitely need to cut it off the... Here, seriously, look at this fabric. It's a lot. That's just, let me see. I've even got the tag on it still. 36-inch by 27-inch piece of fabric. The last time I placed an order at 123 Stitch, I went ahead and got this big piece because I figured it could be used for so many things. When I start my next HAID, I can put it on there. If I want to do small projects like this, it's good for it. So, yeah, so I just need to cut that off. And when April's comes out, I'm definitely going to cut it before I work on it, because trying to maneuver this much fabric around, not so easy to do. And with this, when you're wrapping the bars and doing those stitches, you turn your fabric more than with just cross stitching. Cross stitching, you kind of keep your fabric up and down the whole time, but yeah, this one I was definitely turning it to get the different angles on it. So not easy to work with, that fabric, but I didn't want to cut it before I was sure. So, okay, that is all my stitching for the month. I tried to go through it pretty quickly. It's the end of the month. It's getting late in the evening. It's Easter. I need to go and get all the leftovers out of the fridge and fix the kids some ham sandwiches and all that for dinner so that they don't start whining at me. But yeah, I think I'll be back in a week or so. I really wanted to do the pearl tag and the for reals though that Adele set up. I want to do those 2 tags, but I don't have them printed out right now, and I didn't want to get my computer out. So I guess that just helps this video be a little bit shorter. Hopefully it won't take as long to upload. I think my last video, about 5 hours. 5 hours to load it. So, yeah.